Let's give a warm welcome to AT&T's Glenn Lurie.
Good morning. Good morning. You guys all had your coffee, right? All right, so first, let me start this. I can't let Meredith leave the stage without one thing. You know, Meredith, her first CTIA was last year, and she's basically, we're kind of in the same boat as far as how long we've been in our jobs. She is doing an unbelievable job leading this organization. So please give her a round of applause.
That's very nice. Thank you.
All right, so it's great to be here. A couple things right up front. I don't want to just be a talking head today. Right, what I want to do is first of all talk a little bit about where we're going to go. You can see connecting your world is what I'm talking about today and where we're going. It's really, really important as an industry, right? We think about what's next. But at the same time, it's also really important that we take a look back and think about where we came from. So I'm going to do a little history lesson, right? Ask a few questions of you guys, a little two-way. And then we'll kind of dig into where do we think the industry's going. Oh, and by the way, I might talk about AT&T a little bit. I might talk about how we fit into where we're going. Is that okay? As long as you guys are good with it, then I won't actually change my presentation right now on stage. All right, 1985. So let me start this. First of all, raise your hands real high if you're in this industry in 1985. Come on, raise them high. Okay, you folks were all old. Actually, I am too. So I started in this industry in 1990. And if you think about the fact that in 85, we only had 340,000 connections. Now, we all know those connections were, right? They were voice devices. And if you think back to what the world was like, when I started, I was selling, and for the young folks in the room, we used to sell phones, right? Right, I was selling the MC750 Motorola brick was about $1,000. The newest, latest, greatest flip phone was $2,500. And by the way, people paid $1 a minute, and there was not nights and weekends and mobile to mobile and all that stuff we do today. The world was very, very different. And if all of you remember, all the smart folks and experts said, what was the highest penetration we'd ever get in the US? Anybody remember? About 10%. The highest ever. So here we were. Now flash forward. Right? Flash forward about 15 years, and you say, wow, 2000, what were you doing in 2000? Right? So first of all, we passed 100 million connections. By the way, still voice, right? Because think about what was happening in 2000. By the way, if you were surfing the internet in 2000, how were you doing that? You were using a WAP browser. Remember those? Remember how awesome and good that was? Wrong, right? It was terrible. Right, it was awful. By the way, you also had T9 texting. Remember that? So you hit it 3 times for the, right? It was a mess. But we thought we were cool. We thought we were going fast. And think about this. In 2000, the Razor, which by the way, I'm proud to say Singular launched in 04, was still 4 years away. And by the way, you guys paid $600 for that. And then 7.5 years later, what happened? The world changed because the iPhone launched. So you can see kind of how this maturation. So now let's jump forward 14 years to last year. Big change. A lot happened in those 14 years. Number one happened is we passed 100% wireless penetration. So that 10% thing kind of went out the window. The second thing that happened is you had a few things happen with the smartphone, which is smartphone was born. Right? It was born about halfway through this 14 years, right? 2007, mid-year, the iPhone was born. And then everything kind of started to change. You started to also see the App Store came in this period. The other thing that happened in this period is this crazy thing called M2M. We used to call it that, right? Or emerging devices or connected devices came in. And all of a sudden, we started to talk about where penetration can go and where connections can go. But even more important is the next slide. When you start to think about, right, where we're going and the numbers. Take a look at this. So from 2003 to 2014, why did I pick that? These are CTIA numbers. We're at CTIA. This is their numbers going back. Look at this, penetration doubled in that 14-year period. So huge acceleration. This is also a pretty good number. revenue more than doubled from 88 billion to 188 billion. And now for those of you other wireless carrier folks in the room, especially the CFOs in the room, take a look at this. Capital investment went from 145 million to 32 billion dollars in that period of time. Think about that, 32 billion. This is a 225 times over that period of time. So really important as we think about what's next, I want you to think about a couple of things. First question I get asked all the time, is smartphone growth done? The answer is no, of course not. There's tons of gas in smartphones. We have tons of opportunity to continue to grow them, right? But when you think about what's next, you think about what's gonna happen, let's just call it the next 15 years. And for most of us, just thinking 2 or 3 years ahead is kind of scary in this business. Things are changing so rapidly, right? Which really I want you to think about is where we're headed. So I want to hit a couple of key areas that we view will be very, very important as we think about what comes next. I also then plan to kind of peel that onion a little further and dig into a few of the verticals that we think are going to be very important to us. But let's start here. So first of all, mobile video is number one. I'm going to hit that. I'm going to hit it as an industry level. Number two is connected home. Now, we've had a lot of talk about connected home, security, automation. I want to dig into that. And certainly last but not least, I want to talk about IoT. Now, again, it used to be called M2M, connected devices. We've kind of all funneled around that one term of IoT, right? And I want to get into this. So let's start with video. Really important point that I want to make. Our future in this industry, in our opinion, is about mobility and video. Right? People having the ability to take their content, view it anywhere, anytime, on any device they want. So if you look at this today, so exabytes, 25 exabytes. In 2014, globally, 45% of the usage on our networks was video already. We actually came out earlier this year and said 50% of the usage on the AT&T network is video. Right? And I also believe, and we feel good the stars are aligned to support this. But what's really interesting is the next view, right? Which is that. So this is where the massive growth is going to come. And you start to think about 22 times in the next 5 years of video consumption on mobile devices. And by the way, I don't want you to just think about smartphones. I want you to think about tablets. I want you to think about cars. I want you to also think about the enterprise marketplace and where that makes sense. So this is one of those places we have to concentrate. Now you're all thinking, well, Glenn, you're probably going to talk about the DirecTV acquisition, and I will in a little while. But that's just one component, and a very important component for AT&T as we look at content being viewed on mobile devices. Second one I want to hit from an industry level is this one. This has been something we've talked about for years. Right, it's the smart home, it's the connected home. It's happening, right? It's happening today. And by the way, when we talk to customers, the home is the first place they want to talk about, right? It's the place that is very personal to them. And when they talk about what are the things they want in their home, and by the way, if I would have asked all of you in 2000, what do you want your smartphone to do, what would you have told me? You didn't know, right? We didn't know what we didn't know. We didn't know what an app store would do. Same thing goes here. Do we really know what we want our home to do? I think we're getting there. The interesting thing about this is the growth opportunity is huge. And when you look at these numbers, you might say, Glenn, what's the definition of 700 million homes? What's in them? Right? I would argue what's in them could be a camera, right? Could be a thermostat. It could be an end-to-end security and automation system. The point is the space is huge opportunity. And with that, with 3.5 times growth, we believe we want to take advantage of it, and I will get into it more in a few minutes. The other very, very high level space is IoT. This is one of those spaces that I hear people talking about all the time. And it's very, very hard to define because it's everything, right? It is everything. Every single thing in our lives is going to be connected. Let me say it a different way, right? If a device is connected, it's smart. If a device is not connected, it's dumb. If a device is connected, it can communicate with other devices, with the internet, with you. This is where we're headed. And it's not just about the things you know today, it's about everything. And I'm going to dig into this much deeper because we've taken obviously a very big interest in this in AT&T for quite some time. The 4.9 billion number, right, is a big number. I also would argue that when you look at all the forecasts and the experts and everything else, we've seen numbers as high as 50 billion devices, right? And the next question is, well, how are you going to make money? And are all these devices going to hit the wide area wireless network? The answer is no. These devices will hit many protocols, right? There's really no reason inside of a home to have every device ping the wide area wireless network. You can use how many different protocols, right? Zigbee, Z-Wave, 433, Wi-Fi, I can go on and on. The point being is this is just getting started and a massive opportunity. So I'd like to kind of transition into, we have really entered a new era in our business, right? The smartphone has taken us to a new place. And really, if you step back and you look at 2007, 2008, you look at Apple, I'll give them credit, they had a great day yesterday, and you look at what they're doing, they really opened our eyes to what's possible, didn't they? Right? You look at an app store that all of a sudden said, wow, I can do this or I can do that. And there really isn't a person in this room, there's not a OEM, there's not a business out there who didn't go, well, wait a second, I never thought of that, or could this do that? And it opened everybody's eyes to this new era in wireless, where when you look around that smartphone, all these things come together. And as we look at our next 15 years, this is where that growth is going to come from. And it's going to be in every single vertical. Okay? Now I want to talk a little bit about AT&T for a second. I'm very proud of and where we have been and what we have done up to this point when you start thinking about this term of delivering the future first. We have a very, very simple, and I give our CMO, David Christopher, credit for this. We look at the smartphone as a remote control for your life. Now, I have been asked questions all this week. Well, how long is a smartphone, and is it going to be something else? Doesn't matter. There's going to be a device that runs your life. Today, that device is a smartphone. Today, that device, how many of you leave your home without your smartphone? Exactly. Exactly. My daughter, I think she's super glued it to her hand. She's 19, right? She absolutely has to have it at all times. But if you look around this water wheel for a second, this is what will drive it. Now, it does not mean that around this water wheel, folks, they're not all going to be connected. They are. Every device is going to be connected. It's how do you want to manage that? And I will end this discussion today talking about customer experience, because this scares people, not us, right? Us in this room are all here because we like shiny objects and we're probably nerdy and we get into this. Rest of the world that we need to get the velocity with, we have to convince that this is how the world's going to go. Okay? So now what I want to do is I want to peel that onion to 4 areas, okay, and dig in a little bit about the industry as well as what AT&T is doing in these areas to drive where we would talk about the next big thing. And so when you look, we start here with home automation on the top and security. We'll talk about IoT. Inside of IoT, I'm going to focus on industrial, and I'm going to focus on connected car. And it's really, really important that, guys, this is just a subset. I could be up here, they only gave me 30 minutes. I could be up here for hours on each one of these ecosystems, whether it's healthcare, which I know many of you want to talk about. I'll talk a little bit about today. So it's everything. And as you saw, hopefully you've seen some of the announcements. We've made about 10 announcements in the last 2 days, and they range from every aspect of what's inside of these ecosystems. So let's go here first. Home security and automation. Like I said, you saw the numbers. 700 million opportunity of homes globally, okay? This is an industry that today is about a $20-odd billion industry. It's gonna go by 2020 to 42 billion. Okay, massive growth opportunity, right? And the key element of this is we've got to focus on some key areas. First and foremost, we believe, I'm gonna say we AT&T, that it's about security as a foundation. Now, many of you are gonna go, wait, time out, Glenn. You know, I can put a camera or a thermostat. Please do that, right? That's still making that progress, because we're right behind that. We're gonna talk a lot about automation. But it's about that foundation of security, number one. Number two, we must simplify the experience. If you look at some of the players that have come and gone, some of the self-install players, they've struggled. Because you know what we've learned is every house is different. Every city builds their houses different, right? And all of a sudden it gets very complicated to make things work. Plus, when things are all wireless, right, it makes it harder. And so the key focus here is we've got to make it simple. Whether it's simple where we install it or simple where it's self-install, you've got to make every aspect of the experience simple too. How do you buy security today? In the past, you made a phone call. Today, you walk into a store. How do you install security? What's the app look like? How does, by the way, that work with the rest of your life? It's all got to be taken in consideration by us as we move this forward. Third, it's got to be customizable. This is about getting personal with our customers, letting them decide in their life how they want the security to work for them, how they want the automation to work for them. So, if you look at what we've done, we launched Digital Life 2 years ago, approximately. Okay, I'm very, very proud of where this has come. Remember, this is an all IP-based offering, highly secure. We built this thing from scratch, and we did it that way because when we looked at this industry, we didn't see those key things to be successful. We didn't see simplicity, right? We didn't see customizable, which is why we decided if we're going to jump in, we're going to jump in and do it right. Number two, a complete solution. So we will come and install it. It's professionally installed, right? We also allow you, after it's professionally installed, to add devices as you like and self-install. So we're trying to hit both sides. Last year, we were the leader in the entire industry in net flow share. Very proud of that. We're off to a tremendous start in 2015. People want this. This is important to them. And if you simplify it, we will get the volume that we need. And last but certainly not least, we are monitoring this with NPS, simply. What are our customers telling us how we're doing? And we're leading in that. So right now, today, we're in 83 markets. And again, we are off and running. You've probably seen it. You've heard about it. If you haven't, you should go check it out. It is by far the best offering in the marketplace. But how do you make it better? Well, how you make it better, right, is, and I'm going to make a quick announcement here, how you make it better is you open the APIs. You give customers the choice of how they want it. Like I said, the foundation of this is security. Automation should be your choice. And so today, I'm proud, we made this announcement earlier this week, is that we are going to add Nest to our platform. So that will allow you, with an open API that we've built, to bring Nest into the ecosystem of Digital Life. We've already brought in SmartThings and Lutron and others, and we're going to continue because our goal here is to let customers make the choice as to what they want. Foundation security, automation on top, you go pick what makes sense for you. Secondarily, I want to make another announcement. We got a lot of feedback from our customers that Digital Life's terrific, but you can't take it with you. Right? It's in your home, right? 24/7, all IP, what a wonderful thing. So the team sat down and said, how do we do something very different and very special? And today what I'm going to announce is we are launching a trial called Digital Life Personal Security. Imagine the ability to take Digital Life with you on your smartphone. Imagine my 19-year-old daughter who goes to Auburn University finding herself in a situation where she's uncomfortable and tap an app that will allow her to feel as she has somebody helping and watching her. Imagine the opportunity with 24/7, right, monitoring center taking care of her, the ability for her to hit a button and automatically have the smartphone open up to live video and live audio, the ability for her to hit a button and instantly know where she is, to instantly have the police come. This is a personal security app that is going to be brought by Digital Life. Now, we're going to obviously offer this to our Digital Life customers, but we're going to offer this to anybody who wants to add it to their smartphone. So you'll see us talk more about this as we go forward this year, and we're very, very excited about what this does to enhance the security and take it with you away from your home. Let's jump back in the Internet of Things real quick. Because when you think about this, and it's a hot topic here in town, everybody's talking about it, and I hit this number a little earlier, but really, really important around this is 25 billion opportunity. You guys understand that. I talked about the fact that every single device in our life is going to be connected. End of story, period. It's happening now, and it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. This is also about businesses. There's not a business on the planet, and I'll get into industrial in a second, who's not looking at getting better, more efficient, doing better for their customers, building better products, and that's exactly what they're looking at is IoT and how they go do that. Their data analytics opportunity, big data opportunity here is massive. Okay, we are working on that. I think the industry is looking at that, and we're going to continue to take that forward, obviously with our customers' approval, right, in that environment, but we're going to do it the right way. And last but not least, this is about solving problems. This is about making people's lives better by making the devices in your life smarter. As all of you are well aware, and I'm going to make you aware, we invested early in this space. Right? This was something that we put a team together going on 9 years ago and said we're going to focus 24/7. And we didn't call it IoT then, right? We called it M2M and connected devices. So we got in early. We started to focus on this. We built our teams through verticals. We looked at each of those key verticals and put teams focused on those verticals to get very engaged in each of those verticals. And by doing that, it allowed us to have more of a startup approach. Right? We built this team outside the four walls of AT&T. We let them be entrepreneurial. We let them go fast. We let them make mistakes. We let them fail fast so that we could get into this space very quickly. Our view is very customer-centric, and you're going to say, well, of course it is. And I'm talking about multiple customers here. Our view was customer-centric around our OEM partners. Our view was customer-centric around the end user. We listened to our customers. We made sure our customers understood very, very, very well, because this was all new for everybody. The majority of our customers had never wireless enabled anything. So we had to sit down and listen and learn. In these last 8 years, we've learned a lot about how to partner and be the best partner in this space. And the other thing is we had to build platforms. You guys, I tell you, one of the most proud things we did is we had to invest early in platforms, and we did it in a couple different ways. First of all, our global SIM platform. I'm going to talk about some deals that we have here that are global. Yes, we love the United States. It's a wonderful place, but our business is global. And the ability for us to take care and give an OEM a single SIM that can work anywhere in the world is the focus about offering this platform. We have bifurcated billing platforms. We got the Drive platform for the connected car. Today, we have 23+ million devices on our wide area wireless network. That's number one in the industry by a long shot. But I really want to make a key point here. We are just getting started. We are still in the infancy of this business and what IoT can be. We made this announcement this week, and I have it on. I want to talk about it just really quickly because it's just a simple solution. How many in here have ever lost your luggage? I know you lost your luggage. We've all lost our luggage. This is a simple thing. TUMI is a great partner. As you can know, we are putting the ability to connect your luggage. That's actually a puck that can be moved from bag to bag. It allows you to understand where your luggage is. It's smart enough to be FAA compliant, so when it goes up in the airplane, it turns off, et cetera, et cetera. The reason I want to talk about this and the ones I want to talk about is the idea of IoT is not about complexity. It's actually about simplicity and bringing very simple solutions that make sense. Here's another one that we actually announced today, right? It's Kika M2M. This is a part of Polaris. Many of you probably have Polaris. They make bikes. They obviously do watercraft, right? They do all kinds of different vehicles, and they really wanted to give their customers the ability to find them, to see the diagnostics around them, to have panic alerts, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to be connecting all of theirs. Again, very, very simple stuff that allows us to grow this business. Another one that I think is also very, very exciting is PerMobile. PerMobile is a wheelchair company. And they came to us, and actually they came into our foundry, which is our innovation center, and they said, look, we'd like to connect our wheelchair. And what we really want to be able to do is understand the battery levels, be able to track where it is, see diagnostics, as well as we want to understand one of the biggest issues is the pressure of the cushion on the wheelchair. So think about that, really simple concept. And what they actually said, and they worked with us, and it's incredibly cool. If you go over to our exhibit here, we have one. They wanted the caregiver to be able to look and see these things, and in fact, if they had to put more pressure and pump up the cushion, they could from the app, which is exactly what we did. So very, very simple examples of where we are and what we're doing. Let me move now. I'm gonna play a video that's gonna give you a little bit of another understanding of where AT&T is having an impact on people's lives, and this also fits in the healthcare world, so please play the video.
My job is to fix broken hearts. Everything I do, all day, every day, is about timing. When we're making a decision about a heart, there's no room for miscommunication. What we're really transmitting across the network is life. In my operating room, we stream music to match the heart. A healthy child's heart beats at around 100 beats per minute. If it's got the beat, we just know that everything's going to be okay. It really is a huge relief to be able to walk out there and tell them the child has a new heart, and I think it's going to work. I just feel very blessed to be able to do that.
Pretty awesome, pretty amazing what we can do by connecting devices. I also want to make another quick announcement around the healthcare world. We're working with Dr. Chin, University of Texas, on a diabetes, obesity control health trial. The focus around this is how do we take connecting patients with providers and caregivers real-time data to make people's lives better. And we're very excited to work with Dr. Chin. She runs innovation as well as the medical side for University of Texas, and really another example of what we can do in this industry to simply make people's lives better. Let's move into industrial. Industrial IoT, I talked a little earlier. Every business in the world, small, medium, large, is saying, how do I use this connecting devices to make my businesses better, faster, stronger, etc. You can see that there's a 1 billion connection opportunity here. I actually think, my personal opinion, this is very low, right? Because really the reality is everything inside of a business can be connected to make it faster and better and more efficient. The companies are looking for their leadership. They're looking for their opportunity to make their product better, to treat their customers better, to make their employees more efficient. It's simply as easy as that. At the same time, the more efficiency they're looking for, and there's so many examples, whether, we were on stage at CES talking about Emerson and their oven. They used to send people out to 4,000 locations to update their ovens. Now they hit one keystroke and all 4,000 update. There's connected garbage cans, which people always chuckle at, but there's a lot of garbage cans, and all the companies want to know is, are they upright and how full are they? And that makes their day and makes their jobs much easier, and it can go on and on and on. Last report is obviously more productive. How do you make your teams more productive, your business more productive? And obviously, we view this as one of the great opportunities as we go forward. So, as you look at this, as we look at getting into this space, right, we have done a few things that are really important. Again, we've made platform investments around this. I talked about Drive platform. We've got cloud platforms that we're bringing around IoT specific, right, that allows us to help these customers. We have a thing we launched called Cargo View. Cargo View simply allows you to track a device no matter where it is in the world. If it happens to go up in an airplane, obviously we are FAA compliant. It has shock, so you can see if it's been hit or shocked, and this is allowing companies to be much more productive. We've gotten a couple of nice awards from Gartner and others around leading in this space. The really key element here is that we've done 200 contracts already this year. So if you're thinking about what you do, you're thinking about your businesses, you're thinking about how you're in this industry, this space is just exploding before our eyes. One of the deals that I want to talk about today is of another very simple deal, and it's a company called Telegis that is actually a company that is very much a leader, right, in worldwide fleet solutions. And they came to us and said, we want to do a few things. One, we want to be able to see diagnostics in the vehicle. We want to be able to track our fleets. We also want to be able to do over-the-air updates to the vehicles, and we're working with them, and we're very excited about the partnership. Let me hit my last group, and my last point is around connected car. Connected car, we view as the next great device in your life, right? We've been talking about it for years, right? You can see the number. There's going to be 250 million cars connected globally. This business has just exploded over the past few years. The car companies and the OEMs really get it. They really understand what they've got to do to take this car and take it to be that great device in your life. The trend is outstanding here in the US. as we look forward, about 16 million cars on the road a year that are new. We have an opportunity also with the cars that are on the road, about 150 million that have the ability to add an OBD2 port to. And as you can understand, every aspect of the ecosystem benefits from the car being fully connected all the time and the ability to get diagnostics from the vehicle, the ability to have that vehicle be smart, etc. One of the key elements here also is safety, right? Distracted driving is a huge, huge issue when it comes to the car. We need to make sure that we're using technology to make the car a safer place for everybody. We have those opportunities that are coming around vehicle to vehicle, so vehicles communicating with each other. We have opportunities around vehicle to infrastructure. When you start talking about smart cities and cars working inside of smart cities, we have the ability to do proactive diagnostics that basically allow you to see and understand what the car is doing before you get in it, so you don't have those issues. These are all things that are going to make the car a safer and better place. We have said, and we are, I guess we actually made the comment early this year that about half the cars this year will be connected by AT&T. Okay, so we have a nice lead in this space, and we're very excited about what we've done in this space. So as we look forward around the connected car, we have announced 8 agreements with the 15 major players in the automotive space. Terrific partners, and we're very excited about all the different aspects of how they're competing with us, how they're using the concept of the car being connected to make the car better. We have the advanced platforms I talked about earlier, where most of the automotive players are focused around bifurcated billing, are focused around using that platform, which allows you to take a single SIM and have multiple different relationships in the car, whether wholesale or retail. Obviously, I talked also about the global SIM platform that we're using with multitude of our players. Today, we have 4.8 million cars connected in the US, okay, which is by far leading the industry. We will have about 10 million cars connected by 2017. I actually think that number's low. And what I'm excited about today is I want to make an announcement that we actually went out this morning, and the fact that we're adding a new manufacturer as one of our partners. So today, as you probably can see in the room, I'm going to announce that Jaguar and Land Rover will be an AT&T connected partner as we go forward. Obviously, it's a beautiful little Jag right there. If you can look over there around all those folks who are surrounding the Range Rover Sport. We are working very closely with Jaguar Land Rover around a few key areas. One thing that we've really enjoyed about the relationship is they're very, very customer focused and customer centric. They're focused on infotainment. They're focused on Wi-Fi hotspots in the vehicle, connected navigation, and bringing a suite of apps. The first car that will come out is actually the Range Rover Sport, which is over there to my right. That car will be the very first, and then as models come out, you will start to see them come out. The Jaguars and the rest of their lineups will be connected with LTE, right? So it's really, really, really exciting for us. I'm very proud of the team, which is sitting over here in the front row, and the work that they've done to continue to work with these automotive players to bring connectivity to the vehicle and bring all these wonderful things to the car that, again, where I started, to make people's lives better. Last point, and a really important point. When you look at all the things that I've talked about today, you look at that wheel that we were looking at, and I'm going to put that back up. You got to think about the fact that this is about the customer experience, right? We can talk about how cool it all is. We can talk about all the things we shouldn't want to do in this room as an industry, but it's going to be what the customer views and how the customer feels about what we're trying to bring them. So really critical for us is this needs to be a single experience. Today, when you're doing this, it's not a single experience today, right? You've got an app for every single thing. I got an app for my car, an app for my home, an app for my dog collar, or whatever you have. We've got to try to bring a single experience to customers. Really, really important for the industry to do that. Number two, it's got to be simplified. In other words, how they do this has got to be a simplified solution. And last, and probably the most important, is we have to allow these things to take care of us. So my last point is this. The future of where we're headed is about these inanimate objects really taking care of us. So if you think about Meredith for a second, and Meredith's home in DC, Meredith has a lot of things to think about when she wakes up in the morning and leaves for work. Meredith really should have almost nothing to think about, because she can get up, right? She's got her smartphone in her hand. She may have a wearable on her wrist that knows it's Meredith. And when she walks out the door, her house should already know what to do when she leaves. So when she walks out, closes the door, walks 10 feet from her home, why shouldn't the house take care of her and turn the thermostats down, turn the lights off, lock the doors, turn the alarm on? When she walks up to this beautiful Jaguar, which she, by the way, thinks is hers and it's not, when she walks up to this Jaguar, it knows it's Meredith. So why in the world wouldn't it unlock the doors, right? Have her seat settings, put it on her radio station, put the temperature where she wants it so she can drive to work. The reality is once you tell these objects once what to do, they should do it for you. Just like when she's coming home, it does the opposite. The goal for us as an industry and for us to grow and for us to see the incredible growth we saw from 85 to 2000 to 2014 is we got to continue to make things simple for our customers and bring them simple experiences that solve problems. I want to thank you all today. I appreciate everybody being here and your time, and I hope you have a great, great, great rest of CTIA.